We'd like to welcome you to Quilt Show Reno's Live. Today we have Jane Haworth with us, and we're just going to jump right into what Jane's going to be teaching, and you guys are going to really enjoy. She's got the cutest accent, so I'm going to just turn it over. Right. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments for us, and we'll get those answered for you. All right. Jane.
All right. Thank you, Beth. Right. So today I'm here. I'm going to talk about the classes that I have coming up at the Reno show. So I'll be teaching 4 classes, and I'll just show you some of the quilts for the different classes. So let me say my first class is pet portrait quilts, and this is a 2-day class. And as I was telling Beth, if I have this, I do this class in Houston, and it sells out really fast. So people can, this is more an example, cute little doggy in colors. People will use their own photo, and at the beginning of class will, they'll bring an enlarged photo, and then I'll show them how to draw the pattern, and then they start on the collage. So all my classes are collage classes, and you don't need a machine. So my technique is another one. This is a kitty cat in bright colors. So all my collages are raw edge, and I don't use the fusible product. So I use just regular Aleene's tacky glue. So what is nice, what I like, I like this because you can just bring in like a bag of fabric, and then you don't have to put the fusible on it all. You can just use, cut your little piece and use it. And I get people to share their fabrics too. This one is Maisie. This is my daughter's dog. So this is another little one. This is 150% enlargement. I recommend about a 200%, and you'll see these other ones. This one, this is a 200% enlargement. So if you imagine, it's printed on four pages. So that's kind of the size. A lot of people do dogs, but sometimes cats are very popular. And if you had a horse, you have a favorite monkey, you could definitely do other animals too. So this is the whole dog's body included too. So with collage, I like to use a lot of different fabrics. I always say having more choice, makes it easier. Especially with this, because it's basically a gold, I guess it was golden lab or retriever. So I've got all those different fabrics in there.
So basically they're painting by number, but with fabric.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because once you draw on that enlarged photo, you are creating shapes. And so each one of those is a piece of fabric. And so I always use the original photo as reference. And it seems a little intimidating at the beginning, but people really kind of jump in and enjoy it in the end.
So it's a great class for all skill levels. Like even if they've never done a collage or an applique like that, this would be okay for them to sign up for.
Yeah, I do offer it for all skill levels. I would say, doing this is a little harder than, say, a flower, because you're trying to make it look like that photo. But everyone's really happy at the end. And most people do enjoy that technique. So I can talk about my other
so that class is Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a 2-day class, and it's from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. During the show, which is June 9th through the 13th.
Okay. And that one, as I say, it's, it'll take you the 2 days to do that collage. And then I will show how I stitch on them and talk about how you'd finish it, at home afterwards. So yeah, people enjoy not having the machine there. So
For sure. That's definitely a bonus, not having to drag your machine through the hotel.
right, okay. So I'm not sure what day this is. I do have a rabbit and lupins. So this is my sample. And again, this is, you'd be making the rabbit. And this is a 1-day class. So, half the day, hopefully make the rabbit. Again, it's that same collage technique. I have the patterns. I'll provide the patterns. And then these lupins are cut and glued and then kind of arranged. This is all arranged on the background. And then my background here, I use kind of different unusual fabrics. So there's a big old doily there. And I can show you just the rabbit, what that would look like.
I love the texture of the doily and the look of piecing the background. It gives it a lot of interest.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got like silk fabrics, just different textured things.
Right.
And
we all tend to collect doilies and different things, and then we don't know what to do with them. So that's fabulous.
yeah. Yeah, so you could definitely, put together a background. And I just go for something neutral. And then, you've got something colored on top. So, it kind of works. So especially using up those doilies and hankies, things like that. If you just kind of keep to creams, neutrals, it works. So this is the example. This is a little pink rabbit. So this one, as I say, it's glued. What I do, I have a foundation of, this is Easy Pattern or Pellon 830. And it's kind of semi-transparent. And as I say, it's a foundation. So as I glue my fabrics together, they glue onto that foundation. And then once this whole rabbit's done, you cut away the background, and then this can be placed on that background. So that's kind of what you aim to make. And then, start figuring out the rest of the background and the flowers, what you want to add. This is just another one. And it's really good for using scraps, this kind of collage, because you are using such small pieces. The only trouble is you do end up with bags, or I end up with bags and bags of different colored scraps.
I think of it at the fabric as my paint palette. So you have to have a lot of different options for shading and different effects.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I, I say to students, if they want to share fabrics, that's always good because you're just using such small amounts. So then another class I've got is called Scrappy Chickens or Paint Box Chickens. And I don't know if you can see the quilt behind me.
Yeah, it's very cute.
That one, it has about 5 different colored chickens on there, and it has, again, the kind of a neutrally background that is pieced, different random fabrics, and there's some tablecloth in there, some lace, things like that. But then let's see, I've got a small one here so you can kind of see this little tiny one. And this one works really well with chicken wire, all those chicken wire fabrics you might have. So again, this one is, actually it's not on Pellon, but this is like glued, or my different pinks. So I had my bag of pink scraps and just worked on that one.
And
so I haven't.
And there's a pattern for that in the class, or do they just freehand it?
No, what I do have with the chickens, I have about 5 or 6 different chicken patterns. And so those are basically a black line drawing with the different shapes kind of marked out on there. And then you put your Pellon over the top and then start cutting your shapes and gluing them. And it's kind of a free form technique. So I'm not, each shape you're not making a pattern piece for. I show you how I draw on the fabric and cut it out and then start layering them.
And then do you kind of go over color and different, especially in the chickens, it's kind of like the light hits them right at the right spots?
A little bit, yeah. So, this one you can see I've definitely got it like my darker values down here. The wing is kind of picked out with the lighter values. And so I'm not like super strict, but I do like to think about, the shading and the light, the way the lighting might come in. I've kind of quite often I'll go from lighter, kind of working up to darker through the tail and around the body. And it just gives it more dimension than just random fabrics all over the place.
Right. That's beautiful.
So I think I got one more class, and that is poppies.
The poppies, yep.
Yeah, so I've got a couple examples. So this one I have been, there we go.
There you go.
So this one I have been hand stitching these. And I will talk about hand stitching in this class. And it's more like big stitch, I guess. So I don't know if you can see.
So the big stitch is like around the stems, but you do the poppies kind of the same technique as the chickens?
Yeah, so I make the collage the same technique. And then I put it onto a background. I put batting behind it. And then I'll do hand stitching. So this whole front panel, I hand stitch the flowers and the stems and the leaves. So, and then I did machine quilting between. And it's definitely something you could machine quilt. It doesn't have to be hand quilted. But I like I like doing something at night. So,
right.
So I have some little collage piece and I stitch away at night. And then I just got one more. So this is a white jacket.
Oh yeah, that's right up Anne's alley. Anne just tuned in. She's bedazzling jackets like crazy to wear at the Reno show.
Okay. So this one I'll definitely bring along because it's a nice example. So I've made those same poppies. And right now I've glued them on here. I will machine quilt these, but like where down here, I have a pocket. Right. So I'm going to have to hand stitch in this area just so I don't ruin my pocket.
Closed, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see I've kind of put on my flowers. I need to cut and add more leaves. And then I think I have this other side. So this is a work in progress right now. But there's a funny story with that jacket because I'd made one previously with a very old white denim jacket I had. And this year I had a quilt in Quilt National. And I went to the opening in Ohio back in May. And I kind of finished my jacket, wore it going out there. And then coming home, I was just carrying it on the plane. And I was flying into Sacramento and I'm like, wonder where my jacket is. And I looked and I couldn't figure out where it was. And I left it somewhere in an airport.
Oh no.
So,
that's so sad.
I know. So the last time I remember it, I put it on the back of the toilet door in Cleveland, I think. I can't even remember.
Oh, that's tragic.
So somebody, I contacted Lost and Found and they didn't have it. And obviously I'm hoping somebody's enjoying my jacket.
I don't know. Don't you think they would feel so guilty when they're wearing it?
I know. I know. They might get spotted online,
Yeah.
Because I did share it online that I'd lost it.
Right.
But then a friend in my guild, she had this jacket and she said, if you're going to make another one, here's a jacket. So
very nice.
I'm just starting off making a new one. So that's what I've been doing with my poppies. Doing
well, that's great. So basically with the flowers and the chickens and the different collages, you're making an element that if they didn't necessarily want to put it into a wall hanging, they could put it on a jacket or a tote bag or
Oh yeah.
seat cushion, or really you're just making it, you're
Yeah.
learning the technique to make the element, and then you can do anything with it that you want.
Right. Yeah, it's very open. Yeah, because I find I make a lot of wall hangings, and it's like, oh, maybe I put it on a pillow, or tote bags are good too. So
Right.
yeah, you definitely do that.
Or
And some
jacket.
or jacket, yeah. Yeah, some people might, think about the background beforehand, or just wait till it's done really.
Right, because sometimes it
So
takes on a life of its own. So you might think that you want a blue background, but when the
once,
chicken's made or the element's made, it really tells a different story.
yeah, that's very
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will be having an exhibit at the show as well. So hopefully I'll have about 30 quilts on display. I have some big quilts, and then some smaller ones that I can, stack kind of thing.
Right.
And I do hope to make a couple of new quilts that will not have been seen before. So that's quite exciting.
Very exciting. And
So
you won't be in your booth. So some of the teachers will be in their booths, their exhibit booths, so that they can meet the consumer. But you really won't be in your booth because you've got a pretty full schedule.
right. I know Saturday I'll be available.
Yeah.
So, but
So
yeah, other days I'll be teaching. Yeah.
Right. So if you're watching and you want to sign up for Jane's classes, she's got Tuesday and Wednesday, which is the pet portrait, which Anne, I think you might want to make a quilt of Maggie. I think you might. And then on Thursday, from 12, let's see. It says
Full
12
day classes.
Are you sure?
Oh,
8 to 12.
okay.
Scrappy,
4 hours. Yeah.
Scrappy Chickens is 8 to 12. It lines up on my paperwork, kind of funny, but 8 to 12 on Thursday for the Scrappy Chickens, and then 1 to 5 for Poppies on Thursday. Oh, so you're doing 2 on Thursday.
Okay.
Chickens in the morning and Poppies in the afternoon. So you're going to be busy.
Okay.
And then on Friday from 8 to noon is the Rabbit and Lupine collage.
Okay. Sounds good.
So make sure you jot those down so that when Black Friday comes, you guys can sign up for those. And do you have any questions for Jane? Let's see. I do want to remind everybody, because I guess an email went out today from some crazy travel agent who is offering to book your hotels more expensive than what we have. But it looks like it's an email from us. And it says that the rooms are almost booked. So if you're watching this, do not reply to that email. One of our teachers actually replied to it this morning, and then she said, "Oh, something seems kind of off."
Right.
So, the Grand Sierra is trying to do a cease and assist with that company. So make sure that if you are booking your hotel, the room rate is $69 a night. For the weekdays, and then it jumps up on the Friday and Saturday, but I'm not sure to what. But you can always go to the website, which is www.quiltshowreno.com, and then click on the link that's right below the picture of the hotel, and that will take you direct. If you book through that link, you will get the best rates possible. We've got it written into the contract. If they offer any better rates, like on Priceline or anywhere, they'll match those rates. So just make sure you book through the block. That way we can make sure you're protected. And otherwise, if you have questions for Jane, let us know. We'll get those answered for you. And you can sign up. Classes are going to go live on Black Friday. So, Jane, I just have to say this. We are really lucky to have Jane. She taught at Quilt. She taught at Quilt Festival this year. And her class, there were only 3 teachers whose classes sold out, and Jane was one of them. So you're going to want to make sure to sign up quick, because I think that they will go very quick. And Jane, do you have a book that's out? So if they by chance want to get a jump start, or they want to read about your work, they can go to your website and order the book.
Yeah. Oh, I do have one. I'm just trying to find it. Here we go. This is what it looks like. It's backwards, probably. Capture Your Own Life in Collage Quilting. And this definitely, you got all the reflections, but it definitely will give you an introduction to my techniques. And it's very in-depth about how to enlarge your photo, talking about color. And then there's even like there's some projects, there's 12 projects in there. And then there's even some patterns. So if you wanted to get a jump start on this, you can buy these from, I'll make sure, on my website, I do have a few copies so I can sign it and send it back to you that way. Otherwise, Amazon or somewhere, you can buy that.
Maybe we should do a book signing on Saturday in your booth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I won't put you on the spot, but I'll ask you about it later. But that would be very fun, a book signing, because there's a lot of people who won't necessarily be able to take the classes, but they can still come and get a book signed. Yeah. Okay, that sounds exciting. All right, so we want to thank you so much for joining us, Jane. We always love to get to know the teachers and a kind of a sneak peek into your studio, and it's always fun. So I do want to let you know how much we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
We will see you in June. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in, and we will see you soon. Make sure to mark your calendars. Black Friday, so that Friday after Thanksgiving is when you can sign up for classes. And if you sign up for classes between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you will get a Bedazzled Quilt Show Reno 2026 t-shirt. So kind of a little bonus there. Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.